So you ran for vice president, and your children, I know, were active in the campaign.
Right.
And I certainly remember as a child all the streets being cut off because there was the vice presidential candidate for the Democratic Party living right there in our community. And so sitting with you today is truly an honor.
Thank you.
Because the memories are just so vivid for me. Now, at the Democratic Convention, Walter Mondale, when he introduced you, talked quite a bit about your history, talked about why he chose you over anyone else, and I guess the code language for that would have been over a man. You were the first vice presidential candidate, national candidate. And so what were your thoughts on that at the time, and as time went on, is the perspective different?
It's interesting because we did, it was historic. I was the first woman who was nominated by a major party for the position of vice president. And what was truly historic in a lot of ways was the statement, even though it wasn't put as such, but it was the implication that okay, women should not be precluded from running for any office simply because of gender. And there had been, white men in that position for a couple hundred years. And so you turn around and you say, okay, so we're knocking down one barrier. And part of the issue on this whole thing is, for me, when this occurred, I'm sure, well, maybe I'm not so sure that the guys think the same way as I did. But one of the things that I did before I accepted the nomination, I said to myself, can I actually do the job?
Right.
And it's not only doing the job of vice president, which I had spoken to Fritz ahead of time I got out to Minnesota, and we had talked about the job of vice president. It wasn't merely showing up at funerals. It was the vice presidency as defined by Fritz Mondale when he was vice president to Jimmy Carter, which was that the two of them would work together, and that actually, you'd kind of be the right-hand person for the president, doing things on the Hill, as Joe Biden is now doing with
He's a very
President Obama. Very active, and so it becomes a responsibility. And then the next question is, could you, under certain circumstances, and God forbid, could you then take over the job as President of the United States?